Yeah. So every time I get to like focus on things that matters to me. Yeah, because the fact that those of us that know, we know specifically. So we go off and talk about things that we know things about. Ritual and compression. Somehow you have to go off and find a way to fit information inside of a space. You have to go off and make sure that it's perfectly aligned with like the measurements that they run on the space. Yeah. So again, compression or ritual, and then it goes back into journalism and the mathematics in the space within the sequence, the things around the space. Yeah. So by the time I'm busy within a computer domain, that goes back into the domain of material design or engineering and design, like make sure for the fabric of like whatever we're standing on. Yeah, as a civilization, I'm one of the gatekeeper of these records, man. That's what's up. Now I'm questioning who do I own stuff to. That's all. Yeah, because apparently the audacity for like a couple. These men over here, I can't even call them men, so I call them failures into morphing specifically. I said they randomly got selected. They push a random female onto them. They had kids into morphing specifically. It was like a transaction, and by the time they wanted to become they mature into adulthood of them, they all decided to go off and cry. That's one of the worst males ever. You don't even know the type of it myself into like as a male itself. I goes off and act like a child on the female, and then go off and make her feel guilty on the space arm. And then by the time he's done here, he's like the sulking boyfriend or the sulking boyfriend that go off and like someone always go off and cry in the corner, make himself a victim, and then go off and make sure that he can use that identity to then go off and like someone flip his girlfriend on the special, and then go off and make her feel guilty that she's like a piece of shit into morphing special up, and then that dude will continuously cry and like go off and go on a raw rampage and tirade into morphing special. A feminine boy. Yeah, raised all by a mother that probably go off and put makeup on him and dress him up on the special, and then tell him what to wear. Yeah, inside the special, while the fashion and the trend itself is different on the special. So yeah, so Mama's boy come out, and then by the time Mama's boy is done, Dad goes off and like sign him to like a random contract marriage for like a random shell company on the special side, and then he makes kids around the special, and then eventually they all gather up to go off and complain that dudes like me that are born free into the system over here, we have the choice and the option to go off and run a company and live life as single people that go off and like accumulate 6 figures or more. Yeah, as like money that comes in, and we get to like sit on it and go off and do whatever we want, especially including go off to just play video games instead of wasting on children and the stuff around the special. Yeah, so somewhere by the time I build my stability to go off and feed my family with millions of dollars, and then make sure that your future grandkids over here can go to school, all that stuff like that. What's up? Yeah, I get other males over here that like below me into my offering that I don't even respect as a leadership itself. What's up? Yeah, go off and try to tell me what to do in life into my offering especially, and they found some of the dumbest fucking females on earth. Some of the dumbest black people on the planet, some of the dumbest niggas on earth. What's up? DUMB that I don't want nothing to do with. What's up? So these niggas over here will get you killed by just being retarded and listening and taking instruction from a shadow behind the scene that go off and like even go off and like manipulate them with chemicals and then make them believe that God is talking to them, and then by the time God is talking to them, they're singing the gospel. The God that's talking to them is a satanist, that's a scientist that goes off and make fun of people inside their own head to make them go off and display that God is not real, and they always host the topic that God is not real over the internet, and then which is and the behind the scene over there, you won't find a satanic sect over there. They do physics, science, and magic on the special that do magical tricks on the special, and then which they don't believe in God as a scientific crew on the special. But at the same time, they go off and use the power of science to go off and modify your brain cell when you have a surgery, and then go off and let you hear voices inside your head. And then let you know that whatever you hear inside your head might have been cancer, and then you're stupid as an animal. Yeah, and then eventually that's the conclusion that you don't have free will and God does not exist, and eventually you can't even go off and govern or reign yourself. You have to go off and be ruled by the much more intelligent people on earth, and eventually that's the dumbass way that goes off and affect these dumb niggas around the space arm. And by the time they're done over here, kamikaze into like the smart, intelligent dude over here that have the evolution, even break the spell for them and describe to them what's going on around the space. But instead, they decide to go off and like somewhat sniff on glue, and then they hang out with the white folks while they go off and like get into a trance about stupidity of like topics that grown-ass adult like myself built while I was a teenager. Debating stuff about the flying spaghetti monster, whether or not God is real, if you have free will, all that stuff, all the topics that we debated as kids. They recycle it around the special, and then they apply it to scientific research. And I'm sure these dummies we have finally figured out that stuff was there since like 1990 or something. And they finally got exposed to it, and all of a sudden, because of the fact that it looks to have a domain of technology and systems, where you have esports, a bunch of like internet money on the special side. yeah, the fake now wants to go off and like be introduced to a system that took years to go off and like know what it's about into more from special. And by the time they're done with him, yeah, the main crew that deal with like suicidal maniac into more from special murders, yeah, got them because of the fact that they didn't know the psychopath were there. Yeah, we'll go off and like have an avatar that'll go off and pretend to be the nicest dog on earth, but behind those dead eyes over here, myself, yeah, is a dead pile of body and a stuff that's to a crime that he's committed over the space with children that he was recording them killing themselves on the internet, and then someone making fun of him while he's having sex with a psychopathic female serial killer. Yeah, that's part of a set on a special that just like go off like be involved with stuff that's like bloody and violence with sharp knives and guns on the special, and then actually you have a freakish boyfriend over here, so that's like a scientist is giving her up close to like psychology or like a child killing themselves and hanging themselves while they go off and laugh at the child over there in his face, and then they record the event. So that thing got to hang on the entire U.S. Navy and kill it over time.